So guys, we've got a few things I wanted to react to today. I was reading a Dennis Dodd CBS Sports article, and I saw something, and I was like, wait a second, this is real? So I'm going to read off a few paragraphs. It says the Big Ten completed a historic media rights deal last month worth more than $8 billion over 7 years beginning in 2023. Amazon reportedly bid more for the Big Ten's 3:30 p.m. window and primetime windows compared to other suitors. Though those windows ended up going to CBS and NBC respectively. So Dennis Dodd is indicating that his sources are telling him that Amazon frickin' Prime and the big Amazon empire paid more for a potential 3:30 window or the primetime 7:30 window. And the Big Ten said, listen, we love money, but we're not going to go to a streaming service. At least that's what I'm getting out of this, due to the potential limited reach of Amazon and of being streaming exclusive. That is crazy. So guys, this tells me Amazon is certainly not going away. It's only going to get worse if you are against streaming. And I am someone that is 100% fine with streaming. I just think when you make it exclusively streaming, that's when there's an issue, especially with live sports. That is a major problem. I have some of the best internet in the United States, and I have problems with it. And then people say, get better internet. And I test my internet, and it's unbelievable. But it is buffering because it's a live stream, because it's not on cable. So this would have been a nightmare scenario. And again, the Amazon offered more than NBC. We know NBC, a massive deal with the Big Ten to carry the 7:30 primetime window. CBS takes over the 3:30 window. They switch from the SEC to the Big Ten. And Amazon freaking outbid both of them. But the Big Ten said, listen, we're not nearly as big as the NFL. Like, you look at the NFL's deal with Amazon, and it really is remarkable. It just goes to show you how little the NFL at this point actually cares about growing its audience. They're so much bigger than the NBA. They're so much bigger than the MLB. They're so much bigger than college football. They literally said, yeah, we're going to put it on streaming only. We're not going to grow by doing that. We're not going to gain new fans. Well, guess what? We don't need new fans. If Amazon is going to pay us more for the Thursday night window than Fox, we're going to go to Amazon. We don't care that it's not going to get new fans. Fortunately, college has to care about that, and they still have to care about their games being on cable. And then it says, if the Big Ten indeed turned down such an offer, the concerns were likely distribution and visibility. Those same concerns would be in play if the Big Ten accepted the 4 additional Pac-12 schools. So guys, we know what's happening next. I've said it multiple times. The Big Ten wants a West Wing. They're going to add the 4 schools. The Big 12 is going to add the 4 schools. And then Washington State and Oregon State are going to go to the Mountain West. That's the most likely scenario right now. We've discussed that. But I just did not realize that Amazon is this serious of a player. And you can see the incentive for the Big Ten now, getting more teams. That's more content. And apparently Kevin Warren and the Big Ten presidents are obsessed with Amazon. They're obsessed with this idea of getting another big player with the Big Ten. They've already got Big Noon Fox. They've already got CBS. They've got NBC. They want one more. They need more content to get one more big boy player into it. And that brings us to the next part of this article. Adding 4 more Pac-12 schools would result in an expanded Big Ten content, giving the conference approximately 112 games annually. Amazon, or the newest media partner, would likely get the 5th, 6th, or 7th pick of a Big Ten game each week. One industry observer compared the level of potential available content equal to what is currently shown weekly on the Big Ten network. Think about games like California versus Rutgers, Northwestern versus Stanford, or Oregon versus Indiana. possibly those games being exclusive to Amazon as kind of lower ranking games. The Big Ten, if they bring in the 4 schools from the West to balance the conference more, they create that West wing, they will be diluting their conference, and you're going to have to split the TV deal 20 ways, not 16 ways. How do you mitigate that? By getting more content and by getting another major player, whether it's Amazon, whether it's ESPN, into potentially a big contract, which would kind of mitigate the issues with adding the 4 teams, diluting the overall conference, and making you have to pay, more teams. Instead of 16 teams, you're splitting it with 20 teams. That would be the issue. So this is how they solve that. They get more content, and really it just makes too much sense. USC and UCLA, I understand we have airplanes. I realize it's a 3-hour flight. But if you're forcing USC and UCLA, if the conference stays at 16 teams, to take 6 or 7 flights from the West Coast to the East Coast, I'm sorry, but that is a significant competitive disadvantage. It is. And constantly changing time zones and things like that. You get 4 more teams, so now you have 6 teams from the West. It balances the conference better, in my opinion. But I was just taken aback reading the article. I had heard nothing about Amazon, and then suddenly we have a report that Amazon offered more for the 3:30 CBS Big Ten window and the 7:30 window, and the Big Ten and the presidents were like, listen, we still have to grow our sport. We can't make it extremely exclusive like the NFL. So that's interesting. And then, guys, we've got a brand new potential Northwestern Stadium. They certainly need a new stadium. This is going to be privately financed. $800 million. It looks beautiful. 35,000 capacity, exactly what you want. You're not going to make, something crazy big and sell it out. You want a place that you're going to be able to sell out consistently. It looks kind of like a smaller version of Baylor's new stadium, but it's completely enclosed. I really like the look of it. I like the color, the purple. So that is the new Ryan Field that will be, looks like they've gotten the go-ahead on that, around $800 million that will be privately financed. And again, they've got one of the worst stadiums, if not the worst stadium in the Big Ten. There are many high school stadiums in the state of Texas that are better than Ryan Field currently is. If they get this is a nice stadium. It's smaller capacity, but I understand the strategy behind it. You're not going to draw 50,000 people consistently for a Northwestern home game. So this is the strategy they're going with. And then we've got the top 5 performers in week 4. The one thing I really wanted to highlight here is the USC defense. So this is something that I haven't heard talked about a ton, but USC's defense currently has like 14 takeaways. And they're like plus 14 or plus 15 in turnover margin. And, what we would expect something like that to kind of move down back to the mean a little bit. It's just kind of a weird situation where they've gotten all these takeaways, and they had 4 takeaways versus Oregon State, and still were only able to generate 17 total points. So I don't think that's a good omen right there. Now USC, a lot of people are kind of wary of them. Have they beaten anyone? They've had a lot of decent matchups in terms of the teams they're facing are kind of good, like Fresno State, Oregon State, teams like that. But I still think they lose at Utah personally, as kind of maybe this turnover situation where they're like plus 14 in takeaways. It regresses to the mean. And maybe Caleb Williams throws a few interceptions at Utah. I think they lose to Utah personally. And guys, just one final thing as it relates to the weather. We got some great news this morning with the updated weather report in Clemson, South Carolina. It looks like Saturday night right now, we've got partly cloudy skies. So we were all bracing. We were all expecting with the hurricane, its path, its remnants, the system was going to move up and really affect the Carolinas and especially affect this top 10 matchup. Looking like there's only a 15% chance of rain on Saturday night, and actually during the day, it just says slight chance of a shower, so we should really be dry throughout all of College game day and then the game at night. And if the game is actually dry, I think this is a major chance for DJ Uiagalelei, based off of that performance he had last week, to really make a statement and announce himself to the college football world. We all know the story. He's a former 5-star. He struggled last year. He's come on. It's been slow. Last week, great performance. You know, if there's no rain, top 10 matchup, you're at home, you're 7-point favorites. Right now, guys, based off of everything, I don't want to make this, I'll just say, I believe the over-under right now is 42 or something. I would bet that up because they did expect rain, and there was expected to be no rain in that one. Clemson apparently is getting back several defensive backs, but still, that's a game where we should see some points if it is dry. And right now, maybe the system moves back over, but right now it's looking like rain will not impact the major top 10 matchup with College game day coming there. So that is the latest update on the Clemson-North Carolina game. Let me actually take a look at Chapel Hill because we've been watching that one. We could really use some rain in Chapel Hill. Oh, they've got a tropical storm warning. It is supposed to be out of the area in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So that is not good news. But either way, guys, it's looking like the Carolinas are clearing up right now, which will create a more, I like the rain personally, but not in a top 10 matchup. So I'm glad that it should be moved out of the area. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.